These are some of the reasons that makes us go, because our friends also come to support us. You know, I was sitting in my house today. We have a forum, those of us who were in this country in the 80s. And I opened the forum and I saw some pictures of about almost 20 guys in town to support our brother. Isn't that wonderful? Please, please, I know some of you are still eating. My dear friends in the 80s, if you can just stand up and be recognized, please, I need you to do this. Please, y'all are here somewhere at the back. Yes, you are sitting there solo. Stand up. Ivo, stand up. Kinge, where are you all? Please, you all stand up and be recognized. Thank you for what you've come to do. Please give them a round of applause. This is how Dallas rolls. We roll like this in Dallas. We give each other compliments. So with no further ado, I am going to call Mr. Chris Akwa, a friend in need and a friend indeed. Buddy, come on over. See, Chris, you come on and just sit down like saying at die house. We are rejoicing, you know. Papa was 91 years old. Chris is coming on and sitting there. Clap for this man. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert. I appreciate you. Every time I call you, you show up. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, sons and daughters of Akwa, grandkids, great-grandkids, great-great-grandkid, Her Royal Highness, thank you for coming. Please, could you stand for a minute, please? Her Royal Highness. That's the wife of the founder of Basie. Thank you. Okay. Let me say thank you to all of you that took your time. Some of you have been here since Thursday. You took time to come and celebrate this great icon of a father. They say a patriarch. I just call you Daddy. Because I'll leave some of his achievements and deeds and family for the next speaker who will be reading the eulogy. But I just want to say that my father was a very gifted person in communication and in observation, because we were 16 of us just a few years back. We lost our oldest brother, Brother Sam. It was unfortunate that he had to go before Daddy. But like Pastor Franca said, are you ready when they call you? It's not by age. When you're called by the Lord, it's your turn. So, Brother Sam left, Daddy buried him. Daddy has gone. I'm happy that I'm able to bury him. I just want to thank my friends that came from everywhere to support me. Last night we were together, and I said something that, you guys came to my rescue then last night, and I don't want to say it tonight because I don't want to cry. I want to celebrate Papa. Papa came to America many times. been to New York, been to Maryland, been to Houston, been to Dallas, traveled the world, did his thing. But the last time Papa was leaving America, Dallas, he said, son, get on your knees. I got on my knees. And he put his hand on my head. And he said, you will be the head and not the tail. That was his last official touch on me. And I want to say that my daddy is gone, but he's here. Because whatever he left behind will be handled just like he did. He was a character. He didn't take any nonsense. If you step on his toe, he'll tell you as it is. But while he was getting older and older, and I mean, I was surprised that my younger siblings can even touch my dad. I was scared when I heard his car coming. Just by doing nothing, I'm just running away. Because you would think that you've done something wrong and that he would discipline you. But that discipline, like Ndum said many, many years ago, Ndum said, to discipline a child, there's a difference. I think Ndum was like 8 years old. I don't know how she got that. She said to discipline a child is not an abuse. Discipline is different from abuse. So, Papa disciplined us very well. And we went to the best secondary schools in Cameroon. The best secondary schools. At one point, there were 9 kids in secondary school. How he did it, I don't know. He will come and say, you show me your list. You all stand here, 9 of you, show me your list. What are you taking to school? You show your list and you strike. Coupon biscuit out. This one out. You live in the dormitory, you get at school. But he was for education. If none of us cannot get to the moon, it's because we didn't want to. He provided everything. He gave us the tools. So, where's Mary? Is Mary here? Please come. Okay. I just want to thank you for taking care of Papa while he was here. When he comes to America, this is his body. This was his body. You know, when you are close to somebody, it doesn't matter if it's your daughter, your child, but this video was they talk about everything. They talked about it. She even comes to me and say, Chris, this is what Papa said. I said, really? He told you that? So they talked about everything. And when Papa was about to die, I think it was a day, or 2 days before he died. Yes, I told Mary, I said, you better call Papa. I told her, call Papa, because Papa would like to talk to you. Mary, I did that with Mr. Formoso. I told him, I said, call Papa. Because I could feel it, that he was not going to make it. Thank you, Mary. I could feel it that he's not going to make it. When he went to the hospital, when he went to the hospital like 4 months ago, he got well. He called me. I said, Papa, you're out of the hospital? He said, yes. Did I scare you? I said, yes, you scared me. I said, yes, you scared me. But this time around, he was still strong, talking loud and everything. My sister sent me a message. Brother Chris, Papa is in the hospital. I wrote to her. I said, this time around, it doesn't feel good. Whatever we can do, let's do it. Because this time around, I can feel it. The same way I felt about my brother, Sam. Sam has been to all the hospitals in Dallas. He has been there, Parkland, Presbyterian, everywhere. He's been there. But there was one call that I got. I was sitting at the church, Pastor Franca's church, at the back. Mary, my sister, was driving from Yaoundé to Douala. I told Mary, I said, Mary, this one, I don't feel good. So it will hit you when the time is coming. And it always hit me. So, well, it has happened. I never knew. I never thought about it. I never thought about it that I'll be stuck. When I'm looking at that, I'm looking at it's his birthday. And I'm not thinking that he's gone. You know? I'm thinking I'm celebrating some birthday. But again, we all live to die. So Papa is resting, and is resting in peace. He did not suffer. He was 91 years old. I want to die like my dad. I want to die like my dad. My dad lived a good life. He lived a very good life. He lived a healthy life. He lived a flamboyant life. He was very show-boyish. When he comes to America, going back to Cameroon, there was one target he had, Nokombele. He had a target. See, Chris, when I wear this suit and I walk into that council hall, I want Nokombele to see me. When I drive this car that you bought for me, I want Nokombele to see me. So I was talking with Nokombele's wife some months back. I said, what did you guys do to my dad? But everything is about Nokombele. So when he died, the wife saw it on Facebook and called me and said, you know what, my husband said if not of the crisis, he had to be at Papa's funeral because they had their thing going. So, Papa rest well. The last thing you told me, I called, you said, you have never screamed like that. He said, Chris! I said, yes, Papa. He said, you remember what you told me? I said, yes, I do. He said, do your part. And I'm going to do my part. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the evening. Enjoy the evening, celebrate his life. Go home safely. And the ladies that cooked, please, I want to thank you all on behalf of the family. Those who have given their best, thank you. You're small, thank you. All you have, thank you. Patita, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Smiling. With that said, you know what? All of us visitors, let's give ourselves a hand of applause. You all have been behaving so nicely, even though I have some fellows in the bar who are all my friends. They are not trying to be quiet, but I just want you guys to be quiet for a little bit because there is a young lady who is coming up here to talk about her dad. This young lady, you also, first of all, if I give a quiz, who was the 11th child? No Akwa family. Who was the 11th child? Damn, you all pass over. Okay. You got me on that one. So Linda is the 11th child. I know, shh, please. When Shelley Land is talking, I'm like a prof. Don't talk. Thank you. When Linda came to this country, we received Linda. You know, this young lady came with a goal. she wants to be an attorney. Everything everyone said about nursing, medical school, she wanted to be an attorney. And Linda successfully became an attorney. Please, Dallas visitors, give this young lady a hand of applause. Clap for her when she comes. On a clap. Linda, come on now, take a walk. I'm not going to stand close to you. Walk to me. Walk to me, girl. Take that walk. There you go. That's my attorney there. That's my attorney. You know, girl, you know I love you, right? Because that husband came and took you. No, and he hasn't given me news. That palaver will still sort him out. All right, take this mic from this man.
So, once more, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Reverend, Royal Highness. I would first of all like to extend my sincere gratitude to all the relatives, friends, well-wishers, and attendees who have come here today to honor this great man and patriarch of the Akwa family, Sir Victor Ndum, a man we have all come to love and cherish for so many years. The amount of people who have shown up today is a testament of the many lives he has touched personally and through his children. I also want to thank my family for honoring me with this opportunity or privilege to eulogize my dad. He is our father, but for this purpose, I'll call him my dad or my father. And that's how I'm going to address him throughout the biographical eulogy. In 2013, I was able to eulogize my brother, Samuel Akwa, off the top of my head. But with my father, I had to reflect a lot, and I had to take notes. He lived 91 years. He lived a long, great, and fulfilled life. So there's a lot to talk about my dad. And so you guys permit me, because I'm going to be reading from my notes. I mean, I thought if a brilliant guy like President Obama can read with his teleprompter, so I think I should be permitted to look at my notes. Well, all of us have known him in a variety of roles. As father, husband, uncle, cousin, grandpa, mentor, and a great friend. I am privileged to have known him as my father. It is within this context that I shall speak from and share of the greatness of this man, my father. Upon reflecting on what I will say about the uniqueness of my father, I have chosen to stay away from triad expressions. Instead, my desire is for you to see through my eyes as a child who has learned and still learning to love, appreciate, and honor him as I've grown older in my years. I have summarized my father's life in 3 pages and partitioned in 3 parts. My father's education and career. My father was born on about May 17 of 1930 in Ashombatibo in the northwest region of Cameroon. He completed his primary education in Ndum and got admission into Cameroon Protestant College, CPC Bali, in 1952. After CPC, he attended nursing school at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria, where he graduated as a registered nurse. He returned to Cameroon and worked as a registered nurse in Limbe, Kumba, Bengui, Bamenda, Babanki, Nkame, Tombel, Manfe, Kumba, and Boya. During his career, my father went through extensive, and I mean extensive, training as a healthcare professional. In Lagos, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Germany, Liverpool. In the 70s, he received a Medal of Honor for his excellent service as a healthcare professional. My father stopped working as a practicing nurse in 1981 and joined the German Healthcare Corporation for tropical disease called GTZ. In 1983, my father was knighted for his dedication and extraordinary service in public health and earned the title Sir, which he cherished so much, and which you'll see on his backdrop, his pins, and on the flyers in case you're wondering. So in 1984, he was appointed the provincial chief of GTZ in Southwest and retired in 1990 in Boya. My father was very proud of his travels. He kept all his expired passports from the 70s. He kept them like a memory. My father was a devout Christian. Now I'm talking about his Christian life. He was a staunch Baptist. He held several roles with the Cameroon Baptist Convention, from Sunday school teacher to deacon board member, both local and national. For mission schools, my father's children could only attend Presbyterian school or Baptist school. So our family is very, very connected to the Cameroon Baptist Convention. In fact, the pastors are like family to us. They were actually part of our discipline growing up. So at about 7 p.m. at our house, if you saw a pastor walk in, everybody would be like, oh, you know, who's in trouble? Because you know there's going to be a court. We call it court sessions with the pastors. So, in August of 2020, and 2 months before his death, my father received a certificate of honor from the Cameroon Baptist Convention for his dedication and lifetime service to the church. I'll move to my father as a family man. I'll start by saying, like Chris said, my father was very charismatic and outgoing, for those who knew him personally. He was a loving father, a caring husband, and a mentor to many. He may not have been boastful of his children, but we know he was very proud of us, and we're proud of him too. He had 2 wives, Mami Sali Ndum, that's my mother, and Mami Agnes Akwa Ndum, of blessed memory. She died December 2019, and so rest in peace. As you saw from the slideshow, my father, Sir Victor Akwa Ndum, had 16 children, 35 grandchildren, 10 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. So I'll name just the children. So that's Rekia, Samuel, of blessed memory, Victorine, Christopher, Benedict, Mary, Martha, Patience, Patrick, Nancy, Linda, Stanley, Scholastica, Victor, Mosungo, Ndum. He loved all of us, including our spouses, children, grandchildren, and all. It was a lot of children, but my father made sure we all had an opportunity for a great education like Chris said. He sacrificed so much for our education. At times, like Chris said, we were 9 of us in secondary school, but he provided for all of us. My father was a great disciplinarian. With 16 children, he had to be. So he raised us with tough love and made us who we had to be. He protected his girls the most. There was no room for night clubbing in my father's house. No nightclub. Yeah, of course. Yeah. At 8 p.m., the doors were closed. So anyone that was still outside at 8 p.m. had to spend the night outside. And you stay outside, you listen to all the morning birds, you enjoy the cold, and that was your punishment for staying out after 8 p.m. The only one that got away with that was Chris, of course, Chris. And that is because Chris's room was, his room was out of the main house, you know. But sometimes my dad would still, randomly go check on Chris to make sure he was in and to make sure he had not been drinking beer or smoking cigarettes. I also like to share an anecdote about my father. He liked looking at his children's profile pictures lately. When he became very lonely with WhatsApp. We'll be looking at our photos. He'll call me sometimes and say, Lee, I've been looking at your photos. I've been looking at your profile picture, I'm sorry. I've been looking at it until I thought I should see your face. And then he'll call me video call. And then we'll chat. That's how he kept the connection with us. And then, that also made me to be changing my profile picture, just to make sure that, for real, I was changing it, and then he would tell me sometimes, oh, I like this one. Oh, Lee, this doesn't look like you. So, we had this conversation. My father was a very organized man, very organized and very, very detail-oriented. I'll tell you this, he detailed his funeral to the T. In his will, his funeral is detailed to the T. The pastors that will preach, like Reverend Fanka said, in the US, in Kumba, in the village, everything. His casket, the way he wanted his casket to be, his groups, especially the Bobans, he loved his Boban. We remember the Bobans with Conchap way, way back. We were hosting them at our house. Actually, no. Okay, well, like I was saying, the ceremony must have been most transitional in one way or the other. For my father, his was very brief and kind of induced. I'll say induced, me, personally, because even though he had been in the hospital, like Chris said, about 4 months before, but it was for something very minor, it was just a night at the hospital. It was this fateful day that my father was at home and one Chinese man came right into our home and sold these unfortunate drugs to my father. He took those drugs, and that was sometime in September of this year. He was doing very well. He was strong. His voice was strong, doing very well for his age. This guy came to my father's home, sold him some drugs, said it was to boost his immune system, and that would revitalize him. 4 days or 5 days later, he realized his legs were swollen. He checked himself to the hospital. He went to the clinic at the Bingo and Next and checked himself. He got scared, stopped the medication, checked himself, and, well, things just started going down. Unfortunately, the roads had been blocked. The roads were blocked for 2 weeks straight during that period in observance of their independence in Southern Cameroon. So the day we took him to the hospital in Boya, he died about 3 a.m. the next day. He died on October 3rd, 2002. So that's also a kind of cautionary tale, for those who are in Cameroon, those who have relatives in Cameroon. The Chinese have infested our country and are causing all kinds of problems. So his last words to me was, God will continue to bless. My father leaves behind a wife, 15 children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. May he continue to rest in perfect peace, beloved Paps. We love you, we miss you, and your legacy lives forever through us and your posterity. Thank you.
For those schools, when the big says something, you don't have to argue. So we are here commissioned by the Bobans from home, which are our bigs. That said, I'll call on all the Bobans in the house to come out. Augustine Fomba, Dr. Augustine Fomba, I think in the house. I even have Bobans all the way from Atlanta. My good friend Mancho Elias. If you're a Boban, come out, please. All the Bobans in the house, come out. Please, come on, I know you're here, we are many of us. With the ladies that went to CPC after 1972. You also will come out here, let's represent here and give a good farewell. Thank you, keep coming, I know we're going to be a lot of us here. The ladies, please come out. Remember, we used to have Bungalow 5, all of Bungalow, we're proud of you guys. Don't be hiding. Come out before the CPC becomes a mixed school. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being here for this very unique event in that we're celebrating past life, who is 91 years old. As the daughter already said, she was in Bali and left. So I have some very good presentation I'm going to do about Pa here. If you can guess, you are right. Even though you'll see when I open this flyer. And before we do that, I'm going to call on our DJ to play just the first stanza of the Boban anthem, Courage Brother, and we'll play with all of you please to stand up. Let's listen to this anthem in honor of Pa. Thank you. Just be patient, the DJ is queuing it up. When it's ready, we'll have it coming. Just to say one thing before it comes up, if you see a very tall story building with skyscraper, I go to New York or now in Japan or that. Okay, let you continue. Thank you, you may be seated. The word is, the first one is courage, brother, do not stumble, trust in God and do the right. So we're going to continue from here. I see my senior Bob here, near Akwa, all the way from Houston. Dr. Augustine is here, O'Neill House and Seka House. I see Mancho here all the way from Atlanta. You're all welcome. I didn't meet the senior boss. I'm going to give the microphone for them to introduce themselves. Thank you.
My name is Tabebo Roberts, class of 84, Grace House, Los Angeles, California.
My name is Che Divine, Foyunga House, 76B.
Charles Ekinde, class of 82.
John Akwa Seka House, class of 68.
I don't think any of us can beat that. Manchu Elias, class of 83.
Dr. Augustine Former, class of 84.
Dr. Irene Dani, class of 1990.
Gabriel, in our house, 73B.
Wow.
Frederick Cham, class of 84, 84A. Let me emphasize that. You see, you can call me, I'm a fox here if you see those who are here. So these are all my mates.
You know, I'm sorry he pointed out that I'm not class of 84 because I went to SASE also, and SASE goes by the year you entered, not the year you graduated. So I get confused with this class thing when I'm introducing myself. So I'm class of 89, not 84.
So I have a fox in the house too. Dr. August, we need to save me contract in the next meeting. That said, we are pleased to be here this evening. The Bourbons at home commissioned us to say something on behalf of Pa. As the doctor said, he had actually put everything in place. And when he passed, the senior boss back home knew that this was going to happen in the US. So they sent a message that it needs to be presented at this very event on behalf of Pa. So that message will be done by Dr. Augustine Pomba.
Thank you. And once again, these are not my words, words given to us from Bourbons in Cameroon. And I begin. It is for Bourbons. I hereby to describe life in CPC Bali in 1958 when I entered Form 1. The students were all boys and each class was made up of 30 students. They lived in houses named Villawa House, Fonyonga House, Ashili House, Seka House. They were named after missionaries like Villawa House, Fon of Bali, and one of the early pastors. One is now named after the first principal, O'Neill. There was typical work by houses, prayer in the chapel, first class of the day, breakfast, usually conclave, and return to class until lunch. Then rest, work, supper, and prep. And prep is evening classes supervised by prefects. There was student government where parliament was made of representatives elected by each class. The prefects were called ministers. Each Form 1 student, which was a small, had a Form 5 or lower 6 students as big. The big had helped the small to adjust to college environment and studies. At the time that Pa was a student, there was Form 6, which is lower 6. In Form 3, the final exam determined art and science students. Form 3 was a very selective point. Some were dismissed, others continued to Form 5 or lower 6. The final exam was set by Cambridge University, which awarded the Cambridge School of Certificate with 3 grades, grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. There was a college blazer, tie, and cap, which every student liked to get. The Cambridge University later changed the exam to WAEC, which stands for the West African Examination Council, for all English-speaking countries in West Africa. Discipline was very high and religious studies constituted a required subject, and the Bible was one of the textbooks. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Augustine Pompon, for that message sent from home from our bigs to read, and he has just done it verbatim. I was saying that if you see any skyscraper, this very tall building like in New York or elsewhere, they don't stand on the ground that me and you are walking on, they stand on something they call piers. And those piers go very deep to the ground and they lie on the rock. That's what supports those buildings. Sometimes we see them, even the bridges you see as you drive through Dallas, the flyovers. They're not just what you see. What you see is stages that support them, is the piers that
right deep into the ground.
Right deep
and those piers, I can call that CPC for Pa. That's where he got that.
That's where he got that. Strong, visionary, fatherly, charismatic, eloquent, and all what you can describe him today. He has that deep foundation, piers, to be what he is. He has that excellence in CPC Bali. And with that, I'm going to reveal something that he's always said to his peers. He has achieved almost what most of us will never achieve. But he's praised on something that most of us will never know. And that's why I'm going to call one of the grandkids to come and read what is on this flyer. Dr. Ndum, are you in the house? Thank you. Just read this for us.
So it says, I did not continue school. I decided to have children. They are my degrees, and that is why I can march under this platform.
So you now see this is what, even when Power went to CBC for the Golden Jubilee, he marched himself with a placard that said this. And he distinguished himself. So today, what the Bobs, the senior Bobs in Cameroon want to know was telling them the truth. Most of the degrees that he had, they couldn't see. We have PhDs, we have bachelor's degree, we have master's degree, and we have professionals. Today, we are going to witness all those degrees in here, so all of us can see. The guy videotaping it can also censor the Bobas in Cameroon see. So I'm going to start with the bachelor's degree, which are the middle kids. All the past kids who are bachelor's degree, the first kids, please come out. We're going to see those degrees today. The kids, please, let's come out. Just the kids, not the grandkids. The grandkids are master's degree. The great-grandkids, the doctorate degree. We're going to see all with the professional degree that Power had. Let's see so that the Bobans will all know that Power was the man of his words. So let's have the kids come out. All the Akwas, please. Akwa kids, yeah. Sir, Akwa kids. Let's have you out here, please. Where is Chris? Doctor, yes, Okay, Chris, we are waiting for you. Come and join you are one of the courses that form the bachelor's degree. So join the group. So as you are taking this down, the Bobas in Cameroon will see what Power had. When they finished school, some of them went to graduate school. He was in school with the notables like Achira Achu, General Tato, and many others. So his class was a very specific class. They were unique. And by then, in Form 3, then if you graduate, people come chasing for you for jobs. Some of them even left in Form 3 after passing the exams. But others continue, and that's how great people in their batches. Now we're going to see the master's degrees, the grandkids from the bachelor's degree. So the grandkids, let's see you guys come out. Please stand up so that we'll have a picture of all of you together. Come back, please. Yeah, we're going to have a good picture with everything that I had while the others were going to school. Grandkids, come forward. All the grandkids, please. Oh no! Thank you. Anyone in here, you can bear witness with me that part of what past here is becoming true, right? We are seeing the picture coming out. And by end of today, you're going to know that the man was a man of integrity and he said what he meant. Now let's have, these are the master's degrees level that came up. We're going to go for the PhDs, the great grandkids. Let's have you guys come out. Do you have any in the house? Come over. This is wonderful. I know as the MC says something, the teacher teaches, some of us are sleeping and we don't get what the teacher says. If someone still out here, come in, please. We need all of you out here. So if I heard well, there's a great grandkid. Great, okay. Let's have the great grandkid come out. Great grandkid. Thank you, DJ. All of you here in this hall tonight now made a ceremony that, as past tense, we can call him Sir Dr. Victor Ndum. Because if you see here, he has all what he has said in this statement. While the other way to have PhDs, you have the kids. So here we have masters, bachelor's, master's, and doctorate, even postdoctorate in the great grandkids. We thank you very much for coming up. We thank the family. We send our sincere condolences to you, but we want to make it stay strong because Pa has done a lot. Look at the community you have. If you stay strong, you stay together, keep the past, legacy alive, and keep it going. Life is a marathon or a relay where you have the battle. Pa has done the race and has handed over the relay. We want you guys to keep it. Don't run backwards. Because I heard sometimes in the relay they give the battle and the guys turn and running backwards towards the beginning point. But we know Pa did very well, so thank you, Mr. MC. So far, did good. Keep his legacy alive, and if each of you can do what Pa has done, I don't do mathematics a lot. If you count here, I think you are more than 20. If each of you give 20 and the many of you here, Pa's legacy will be an empire, right? So let's keep it alive. Let's keep it alive so that in the future, Pa's name will continue and his legacy will continue. Thank you very much. To the Bourbons back home, I have now presented Pa's degrees from bachelor's to the PhD that he has been saying all the time, so you guys can know that he was the man of his words, the man of integrity. Thank you, you guys can go sit down. Let's go sit down. I appreciate you guys coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob. And please give them a hand of applause, please. Awesome. You guys can see that. You know, I told you guys when I'm standing here, I'm like a prof. You just give me some moments and I'll sit down, okay? You know, those of you at the back, please. There is a young lady who is so dear to my heart. This young lady, we saw her from birth to what she is today. And it's not just by mistake that when Fred was calling someone to read, she called no other than Dr. Mata Ndum Teke. Please give this young lady a hand of applause. She's coming to speak on behalf of the grandkids and the great-grandkids. Please, come on now, Dallas, you can do better. Look at how beautiful she is. She's bringing Akwa, and you guys are not feeling. Thanks, girl. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uncle Lord. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for everyone. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me now? Yes. Thank you so much, Uncle Mulwa. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone that has come from near and far. Thank you for the clergy. Thank you for my very own wife of the one of Bisi. Thank you for everyone that has come. I am speaking here on behalf of the grandchildren. Okay, I'm speaking here on behalf of the grandchildren. I'm sure as you've seen the slideshow, there are many. The first grandchild, Auntie Braun, Sister Gina, and Ashley are ahead of me, but I think all of the grandchildren on the table over there for giving me the opportunity to speak. One thing I have to say about what Uncle Fred said, he said that if everyone gives 20, then Grandpa will have an empire. Uncle, I don't know this map that you're saying like this, but I would say that Grandpa has an empire. When I think of Grandpa and who he is to us as grandkids, he came to America multiple times, and it's funny because when I look at the pictures, at that time he was in his 70s. He was in his 70s, and he was still very strong and full of vitality. What death has is that it takes away the living body. But when I think of Grandpa, there are two things I think of: legacy and his words. There's a lot of things that they've said about legacy. His commitment to his family, his commitment to excellence, his commitment to discipline. As you know, my mother, Mrs. Martha Akwa Teke, commitment to discipline that she has continued to instill down to me. There is a lot that I can say about Grandpa, but you can see it in this room. This room would not be filled if he wasn't a man worth filling through himself and through his children. So a man of legacy is seen in every person that is here today. And so Grandpa, as he left us, clearly he has not left us. Secondly, as I said, words, legacy and words. Some people say he's a good communicator. Yes, he's a good communicator on stage. But as a grandchild, I remember him as a good communicator one-to-one. My grandpa is someone who will call. The first thing that he says when he calls is, "I'm proud of you." Every single time, "I'm proud of you." The words that you speak to your children and you instill in your kids last. And the fact that I can hear my grandfather say, "I'm proud of you." The degrees that he had, he instilled. And because he continued to speak, there's sometimes days go on and I'm like, nope, Grandpa, he always said, "You cannot let the white man go ahead of you." We are in the white man's country, so he's instilled in us to go ahead. He always spoke words of encouragement. Uncle said that the last touch that he had was that you will be the head. That's just he had many words of power that he instilled. So as you see, I'm speaking on behalf of the grandchildren. You can see the power instilled in his children, and you will continue to see the power instilled in his grandchildren. Because he was a man of legacy, he was a man of his word, and he instilled those powerful words into his grandchildren. So my prayer is that, although we are saying him in blessed memory, that his memory will continue to live on through each and every one of us. All of us are seated on that table. So you have seen us grow, and my prayer is that we may even be able to be a portion, because as you see, he has grown, he has established, and we will continue to establish as his seeds here on earth. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much again for coming. May Grandpa's soul continue to rest in peace.
Thank you, Ndum. Dr. Ndum. Please give her another round of applause. Someone lost a phone and it was pink outside, brought to me. I'm going to put it at the DJ booth here. It's all cracked. I think some car may have run over it. So if you're missing a phone, please. Thank you. If you're missing a phone, check with the DJ.